Good morning. This past week I read a story about bummer lambs. You may not be familiar with that term, but a ewe may have 1 to 3 lambs, and there are times when she will reject one of those lambs. That one that is rejected is called a bummer lamb. And the thing about it is that a ewe will never change her mind. Even though that lamb will try to come back and be accepted, the ewe will just kick it away. And so if you see a flock of young lambs, you'll be able to pick out the bummer lamb because they'll be standing around with their head hung low, ostracized from the rest of the flock. And in fact, if an intervention doesn't happen, that lamb will die because it has been rejected. So that's where the shepherd comes in. The shepherd will be watching the flock, will see these bummer lambs, and will then reach out, pick it up, wrap it in a blanket, hold it close, bring it into his home, keep it by the fire, and feed it until that lamb is old enough to go back and rejoin the flock. And the interesting thing is that the bummer lamb never forgets that shepherd. So after it is grown, when the shepherd comes and calls the flock, the bummer lambs will be the ones who lead the way back to the shepherd because they remember his voice. They remember the love that they received from that shepherd. It's not that they were loved more than the other sheep. It's that they experienced that love in a very personal and meaningful way. This time of year, Christmas time, is a very joyful occasion for most people. We get together with family and friends, we exchange gifts. But there are those who have had a tough year. They've lost loved ones. They've had financial reversals. They've lost their jobs. They've had severe health issues. And this is a time of year that becomes very, very tough for them. In many ways, they feel broken, like those bummer lambs. They feel out of place in a time of celebration. And that's the time when the Good Shepherd reaches out and takes care of those bummer lambs. To some degree, we are all those bummer lambs at one point or another in our lives. But at this particular time of year, I want to ask all of you to be looking around. Look for those whose heads are hanging low. Look for those who feel rejected. And reach out. Give them a blanket. Give them a hug. Give them a meal. Give them the love of the Good Shepherd. Take this opportunity to welcome them in. They will never forget it. They will hear the voice of the Good Shepherd for the rest of their lives. Have a great week, and have a Merry Christmas.